Happy
How's
Friday.
it going?
It's going to be a long weekend. Very excited.
We got to talk about Kristi Noem because Kristi Noem is making some headlines for a couple of different reasons. The first one being that she decided to send a very sternly worded letter to Harvard. And she said, hey, Harvard, you have ignored me when it comes to all the requests that we have made to you about your whole foreign student population and what their criminality is, if any, on campus and off. And you have ignored us and you've not done the things that we've asked you to do. And therefore, you are going to lose your student and exchange visitor program certification. She did say on the second page of the letter, you have 72 hours from like whenever they got the letter to come up with these, I don't know, 5 or 6 different things. And it was a lot, but it's the stuff that she's been asking for that they have just like been out of compliance with. And so now if you are, say that you're a student from Italy and you're studying at Harvard, you're for the 2025-2026 school year on, you got to find yourself another college. Like you can't stay at Harvard. So it's kind of a huge deal.
It's a big deal.
And obviously it's sending shockwaves.
You know what though? I got to tell you, I'm a little bit okay with this. Here's something that pisses me off, you guys. I'm just going to tell you, it's kind of tangential to this. My daughter, and she is a swimmer, as some of you know, and so we'll look at colleges and look at their rosters and stuff because she's a freshman. She's a sophomore now. She's a sophomore, and she's starting to look at colleges, right? And like where she can swim and she can do engineering and stuff like that. Let me tell you what pisses me off is when you look at some of these rosters of some of these like women's swim teams. Half of the rosters are foreigners. They're from other countries.
You're not wrong because as she says in this clip, when she was talking about this on Fox News, it's almost 30% of the student population, at least at Harvard, and it's probably true almost everywhere, is foreign students. This is freaking crazy.
It is.
And so listen,
and a lot of them are
like a few foreign students at every college. That's fine.
Right.
But it shouldn't be a third of the student population.
Right. And then when you see some of these like athletic rosters and they're dropping programs, you see some of the athletic rosters, they're giving full scholarships to some of these people, which pisses me off. Some of these are state schools, right? And they're foreigners. And I'm like, wait, why can't they get, especially public universities, right? Give those opportunities to American kids. Yep. So I'm just saying that pisses me off.
No, I totally get it. And like here is Kristi on, I believe Fox News, talking about this whole hullabaloo as it is. The hullabaloo.
So as you mentioned, 18% of Harvard's freshman class this year are foreign. They're foreigners here on student visas. What happens? Where do they go now? What do they do?
Yeah, we have given Harvard multiple opportunities to give us the documentation that we've requested to conduct oversight. We've asked them for the backgrounds on students that attend their university, their criminal activity on campus, off of campus, any video or audio footage they have of this violent activity, and they have just simply not complied. This is something that they need to do in order to comply with this program as it was established. And so, unfortunately, all of their foreign students will face the consequences of Harvard's lack of protecting the individuals that go there. So 27% of their students are foreign students, and they will have to find some other university to go to. And hopefully they find one that cares about them and provides a safe environment.
A third of them. Yeah. I mean, Kristi Noem is like, we will not be ignored, Harvard.
That's right.
Yeah. This is what they do. Right. Don't ignore the government. What are you doing? That's like me saying, you know what? I'm just not going to pay my taxes this year. I mean, what do you think they do to me? Answer them,
like
Harvard.
You. Yeah, they need to comply.
Right.
You're crying out loud.
Yeah.
So Christine, that's one thing that she's already getting a lot of backlash for. But then there was a lawsuit some time ago from the ACLU representing like, I think 10 different illegals who were like, we don't want to leave the country. And so the ACLU decided to represent them. Well, now at least half of those people have already been deported. And the other half have decided they don't want to pursue this lawsuit against the government with the ACLU. And so to announce that, Kristi posted the dismissal of the suit, and it says, suck it.
It just said, suck it, you guys. That is so us. That is so what we would do. That's how we would handle foreign policy. We would just be like, everything would be, suck it. Suck it. Okay.
So something that we would say, but at the same time, I was like, is this professional? I don't know, but I do kind of like it.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Suck it. I think that's a great foreign policy, you guys. It's just Prager U. We got to talk about Prager U. Have you guys checked these out? They're so great. These books for kids. When Henry can read, I'm going to be reading these to him. There's like a whole series of them, but you can download your free copy of the Davy Crockett book. This is the Daniel Boone one. The Davy Crockett one is over there, but you can get the Davy Crockett book and unlock the full Trailblazers experience at prageru.com/chicks. Please do it. You should check that out, you guys. You can get that one for free. It's pretty cool. Also check out our socials, www.chicksontheright.com/links. Do that. And if you haven't subscribed to this podcast, please do. Please do that. Really help us out, you guys.
Okay. Was somebody just asking about my name? I think somebody, yeah. Well, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is who I'm named for today. And we're about to get to a clip of her because she is mad, you guys, about the big, beautiful bill. Naturally, everybody on the left, super, super mad about it, that it passed the House. But Mike Johnson was obviously very celebratory once it did pass. And he was taking a little bit of a victory lap and kind of poking the Democrats with how effective of a president Trump is. And you can hear their reaction. He's speaking on the House floor right after the vote. And they're so mad at what he says, you guys. Listen.
That today wouldn't be possible without the leadership of arguably the most powerful and the most successful and the most respected president in the modern era of the United States.
They're so mad. Suck it.
Our Democrat colleagues mock the objective truth. We were delivered unified government, my friends, in November. The White House, the Senate, and the House were delivered to the party on this side of the aisle. So you can laugh all you want, all right?
Mm-hmm. Am I going to read this? Am I reading it?
You are. This is Trump after the bill passed.
Okay, here we go. The one big, beautiful bill has passed the House of Representatives. This is arguably the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. The bill includes massive tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax deductions when you purchase an American-made vehicle, along with strong border security measures, pay raises for our ICE and Border Patrol agents, funding for the Golden Dome, Trump savings accounts for newborn babies, and much more. Great job by Speaker Mike Johnson and the House leadership. And thank you to every Republican who voted yes on this historic bill. Now it's time for our friends in the United States Senate to get to work and send this bill to my desk as soon as possible. There is no time to waste. The Democrats have lost control of themselves and are aimlessly wandering around, showing no confidence, grit, or determination. They have forgotten their landslide loss in the presidential election and are warped in the past, hoping someday to revive open borders for the world's criminals to be able to pour into our country, men to be able to play in women's sports, and transgender for everybody. They don't realize that these things and so many more like them will never again happen.
Thank you for your attention to that matter.
For your attention to that matter. Yes, absolutely.
So, and I don't even know about the timing of the whole thing with the Senate. I'm assuming the Senate is home for Memorial Day weekend and they're not going to be looking at this until they get back. But I would hope that it's quick. I mean, I have no idea what the timing is going to be, but I would really like this to get done.
Why are they home? It's Friday morning. Why are they home? They need to.
Well, I don't know that for sure. I have no idea.
I mean, they could be working today. This is the thing. Just work. Get it done. This is what pisses me off about these people. Well, one of the many things, but you know what I mean? It's like they never work. Ever.
So Debbie Wasserman Schultz wants you to know that she was up for 27 whole hours, you guys. She's upset about this bill, and she's upset about her lack of sleep. And she's probably upset about her hair, but she's not saying that out loud.
Right.
I mean, that's what
we're upset about it.
Just got back from the Capitol.
Right.
I haven't slept in 27 hours.
You can tell.
Democrats fought all night, all day, and into the morning today to try to stop the Republicans from yanking health care away from nearly 14 million people, from making the largest nutrition assistance cuts in American history, all in service to making rich people richer. This fight's not over.
Yeah, for crying
We're going
out
to keep
loud.
going. We're going to make sure that we stop Republicans from hurting millions of people. I'll talk to you again soon.
Don't talk to us again. We don't want you to do that. Definitely don't do a selfie video like that. Don't do that. Thanks.
They're so mad, you guys. They're
really mad. And they're still harping on the rich people. Ah. Don't they realize that Democrats are the rich people? That's who are the rich people now. They're the rich people. We're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Nancy Pelosi also mad, and she's particularly mad about not exactly knowing all the details of the bill, which is very, very ironic.
They didn't want the public to see really what was in the bill because it's very damaging to families across our country.
We have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
She can't
Tune
remember.
has changed.
She can't remember that stuff. I mean, it's like there's so much crap in her cranium. She can't.
I mean, how do you say that out loud when you know one of the things you're most famous for saying is we have to pass the bill to see what's in it?
Yeah, she's so busy.
I don't even
eating like $26 ice cream out of her $14,000 fridge, or was it the other way around? I can't remember. Was it a $14 ice cream out of a $26,000 fridge?
Yeah,
I think,
I think that's right. I think that's right.
I'm sorry. I'm not rich. I don't know.
Yeah, Nancy doesn't have to worry about debt like some people. And if you are one of those people, then we have a strategy for you. It is to talk to our sponsor, donewithdebt.com. You can talk to one of their strategists for absolutely free. They are the specialists in terms of negotiating right with your creditors to slash your bills, erase your penalties, eliminate interest even. And most clients of theirs see immediate savings, and Done with Debt does not stop their work until you are completely free from debt. Now, some of their strategies are time sensitive, so you'll want to get in on this action as quickly as possible. And here's the coolest part. They are even known to help you free up cash that you can then use for smart investing, which will also ultimately help reduce your debt. So they've got tons of different strategies to help you avoid filing for bankruptcy, stop getting all the collections calls. You don't need to mess with that. Just call the folks that are the experts at donewithdebt.com. Again, it's a free phone call. It's free. So if you're struggling, don't worry. Don't feel ashamed. Just call, get yourself taken care of at donewithdebt.com. All right. Lots and lots of talk about the sweet, precious couple that was brutally murdered yesterday. And we talked about them yesterday. This is Yaron and Sarah. And now we're starting to learn a lot more about their final posts. For example, where there's actually a video from 8 years ago of Sarah being talked to by a local news outlet about her fear of even attending synagogue. This was 8 years ago. And when you think about how much things have changed, it's just so, it's so sad. It's sad and sick and all of those things. So Yaron, apparently his final post on X was a retweet. And here it is. He was retweeting Ambassador Amir Weisbrod, who said, at the UN relief chief, your declaration that 14,000 babies are at risk of dying in Gaza in the next 2 days is a blood libel. All UN organizations have obligations to be neutral and impartial. You are breaching constantly these obligations. Your reports are founded on lies and on Hamas numbers. And of course, you never talk about Hamas or other terrorists and how they use hospitals, schools, and shelters in Gaza as human shields. Enough is enough. You should be accountable for the disinformation that you and the UN spread. And as that was his last repost, that he was warning that this hoax, all these blood libels are what is going to get innocent people killed. And then he, of course,
and then he was killed.
It's just so sad.
Yeah, what a beautiful couple.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah. And then Sarah, this was what I was just telling you about, how 8 years ago, she was only 17 and she was interviewed by local news because there was anti-Semitic graffiti that was found at her high school in Kansas. And it's a very, very short clip, but here is what she said 8 years ago.
This is the first time senior Sarah Milgram has felt unsafe at school.
You know, I worry about going to my synagogue and now I have to worry about safety at school, and that shouldn't be a thing.
It should not be a thing.
It should.
8 years ago. And when I think about how much things have devolved, I mean,
right. It should be the opposite.
Yeah.
And it's not. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's just so frustrating.
What the heck?
I don't know the name of this fellow that you're about to hear from, but this was a guy on that I saw on X yesterday, just talking about how this was. I mean, this is basically inevitable when you have this amount of blood libel being spread, all this disinformation, all this hatred towards Israel. It should come as no surprise that that's where that leads. And he says it a lot better than I do. Here he is.
What happened last night, where a young couple by the name of Sarah and Yaron, ages 20 and 24, were murdered in cold blood. 2 Israelis in D.C. were murdered by a man yelling "Free Palestine." The level of propaganda that is out there, that is spreading all these lies about the state of Israel, is on such a high level that it has gotten people to a point where they are willing and able and happy to go out and slaughter innocent Israelis because of the lies that they're hearing. Such a sad situation. And this guy who did the murder obviously should be in prison for the rest of his life, and a lot more should happen to him that I can't say on social media. But the people that are spreading lies about Israel, that are fueling people like this, these psychopaths, they're the ones that really, really, really need to be held accountable. The people that are spreading lies, Israel's an apartheid state, Israel's doing a genocide, Israel's colonial state, all these lies are saying about Israel is what's fueling the anger towards Israel, to the Jewish people. It is videos like that, those people on social media, which is such a powerful tool, that is what's fueling this anger and fueling this hate. There needs to be a level of accountability for these people that are spreading these lies and spreading the hatred towards Israel and the Jewish people. May the memory of Sarah and Yaron be blessed, and may we have the power to continue fighting false information and anti-Semitism. Stay strong. I'm Yisrael Chai.
They won't be held accountable. They won't. The problem is that there's so many people that just cannot think critically anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they just listen to this garbage and they're like, yeah, it's not true. None of it's true. Yeah.
God, and I saw it's so, I mean, there was like an Instagram, I almost included it, but then I thought it's impossible to read it on a screen. But there was like an Instagram video of just a woman giving the news, like telling the news report about how that couple had been brutally murdered. And then all the comments underneath it were like praising the killer, almost universally. And I was like, what is happening? I mean, how have we gotten this sick?
I know. Anti-Semitism is just rampant. And you know what? People on our side are engaging in it. And that's what makes me just sick. It just makes me sick.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a couple of examples of that in just a minute. But first, let's hear from our friend of the show, Eitan Chitayat, who is an Israeli who we had on our radio program like forever and ever ago. He's also been on our podcast not terribly long ago, sometime after October 7th. And he released a video, and he's so good. I mean, he's so good at articulating what's going on. Although, hide your kids, hide your wives, because Eitan has been known to use some language, and rightly so in a case like this. Here he is.
So we woke up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. because the Houthis launched yet another ballistic missile attack. And we woke up to the awful news that last night 2 young staffers from the Israeli embassy were shot and killed outside a Jewish event in Washington, D.C. They just left a humanitarian gathering at the Capitol Jewish Museum, an event focused on turning pain into purpose. And one of them had just bought the other a ring, and he was planning to propose next week in Jerusalem, near one. The shooter opened fire at close range, and as he was arrested, he chanted, "Free Palestine, free Palestine." So let's be clear. This wasn't resistance. This wasn't protest. This was cold-blooded murder. And it didn't just happen in a war zone. It happened on the steps of a Jewish museum in the capital of the United States during an event centered on cross-faith cooperation and aid, positivity. This is where we are. Peaceful protest stops being peaceful the moment it gives cover to violent ideology, because violence always follows. If your rhetoric dehumanizes Jews, if your cause requires you to cheer for murder, if your silence excuses the killing of a young couple simply for being Israeli and Jewish, then your movement isn't about justice, it's about vengeance, motherfucker. We are seeing a dangerous trend. The line between political cause and murderous hate is blurring, and too many people are letting it happen. Too many people are silent, or they're rationalizing it, justifying it, or even glorifying it.
Yeah,
God, he's so good.
And they're rationalizing it because they're like, I mean, it's just the Jews.
Yeah.
It's what they do. That's what
or they're
people do.
rationalizing it by completely removing the focus on where it should be and saying and spouting off UN talking points about that are using Hamas numbers when it comes to what's happening in Gaza. And they forget why what's happening in Gaza is happening.
Exactly. Precisely.
The whole reason it's happening, the whole reason that there's war there right now is because of October 7th. And people just
do we need to remind people that they took babies and put them in ovens? I guess we can say that, and we can remind people of that because people forget,
Yeah, they absolutely do.
It's gross.
When there's news like this kind of just sickening, gross feeling in your stomach news, there's a really good thing that you can do, which is immerse yourself in something positive. And one of the things that's really positive, well, basically everything that comes out of Angel Studios is always positive. It's always uplifting stories. I mean, granted, they covered tough topics, but Angel Studios, with all of the movies, with all the shows that they produce, there's always a message of hope and of positivity. And today is actually the day when The Last Rodeo comes out in theaters. And so you and I had an opportunity to pre-screen it, which was really cool.
It's really good. And you know what?
And it's a feel-good movie.
You can take your kids, and your grandkids, and you can feel good about doing that. It's like a lot of movies, you just can't do that anymore. And so that's why I like Angel Studios, is because they produce stuff that's family friendly.
Yeah,
it's a great movie. Plus, Neil McDonough's in it, and he's kind of hot. Lady. Put that out there. His blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Not my type, but you do you. I know you like a cowboy, and that's exactly what he is in this movie.
Plays a lot of psychos in other movies too, and I'm all for it. Yeah.
But of course, Angel Studios is who also brought Sound of Freedom, that After Death movie that we both also really, really liked. And right now you can get 2 free tickets to The Last Rodeo when you become a premium member of the Angel Studios Guild. You can visit angel.com/chicks to sign up. And by the way, you also will then get free tickets to all of their movies that come out in the theaters. You'll get 2 free tickets to all of them when you're a premium member. And the coolest part about membership is that you actually get to vote on proposed new films.
Yeah.
So there might, all these people come to Angel Studios with ideas for movies, and they say, what do you think about this proposed movie? And the members of Angel Studios, which is what you become when you sign up for the Guild, you get to vote on what movies you want to see made. So you have a direct hand in it, which is so cool.
It is so cool.
Yeah. So think about membership. Visit angel.com/chicks and sign up. All right, Dave Portnoy, being a voice of reason on this issue, please read his tweet.
A domestic terrorist went hunting Jews last night in Washington, D.C., open firing outside a Jewish event, killing 2 Jews. The terrorist, Elias Rodriguez, yelled, "Free Palestine," as he got arrested. This type of tragedy is the natural progression of events when the morons running our colleges, far-left politicians, and hate merchants on social media continue to normalize and seemingly encourage anti-Semitism in this country. The least surprising part about this tragedy is that the killer hated America long before the conflict in the Middle East. He was an active member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation and the People's Congress of Resistance. What the hell even are those? Sorry.
Terror groups?
Right, exactly. He was a serial agitator, as so many of the Free Palestine movement are. For them, this isn't just about the war in Gaza. This is about hating America and our way of life. Yes. And the more that anti-Semitism is normalized in this country, the more it emboldens these lunatics to commit these heinous acts. The bottom line is that nobody in this country should be intimidated or fear for their safety because of their religion. But here we are. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Well said, Dave Portnoy.
It's interesting. You just don't see this happening on the flip side. You know, you don't, like, when you see, say, you know, a bunch of people that are Muslim coming into Dallas and building all of these structures and doing all of these things, right? You don't see Christians going out and being lunatics. You just don't. I'm putting it out there. You don't do it. You don't. So, but when you see these guys, I say these people that are so entrenched in all of this hate and this, I hate America, I hate Jews, I hate this, I hate that. And everybody's like, I mean, it's just free speech. It's just, they're allowed to do it. It's okay. It's like, they're emboldened. And it's gross because they're able to rationalize, and we're seeing it rationalized so much on the right. It's run rampant that I don't like. How do you stop that? How do you put the toothpaste back in the tube? I just don't know how to do it.
But you have to do, excuse me, like what Eitan said, and there has to be loud voices calling it out and condemning it, as many as there are that are preaching all the hate, like Stu Peters and Candace Owens and all these people. There has to be a counterbalance. And because it's true what Dave says, the more that this is normalized, the more that these lunatics get emboldened. And so there has to be enough people that are not quiet, that are saying, this is effing wrong. This is crazy. Just imagine if we were talking, if the group was just Black people. Imagine if it was a different marginalized group that was being targeted in this way. No one would stand for it. And so why are we standing for it when it's Jewish people? It
happens. And it's getting worse and worse and worse.
It absolutely is. And then the New York Times, because they can always be relied on to be insane. I couldn't even believe this headline. It defies sense. But they said the FBI seeks motive after 2 Israeli embassy aides are killed. And then the subheading says a suspect shouted free Palestine while being arrested. I mean,
okay.
Your motive is right there. Like,
but it just shows you New York Times is part of the problem. It just shows you our mainstream media is part of the freaking problem.
Yeah.
Gosh. Stop rationalizing. Stop downplaying and rationalizing. Just call it what it is. It's terrorism. That's
and
what
I'm sorry,
is.
but like, it's not a suspect. The guy said, I did it.
Right.
I mean,
I totally agree. They're like, oh, but you need to have due process, Mark. Okay.
I mean, if the killer is saying, hey, I'm the killer, hey, it's me. And he just got done saying, I did it for Gaza and free Palestine.
Free Palestine, right.
There's just not a whole lot of doubt about the motive.
Right.
My God. And then we had one of the witnesses to this horrible terror act was on CNN. I forget the name of this chick, the host. It's like Sarah, I think Sarah something. Anyway, she's asking what he saw, like, because he actually looked right into the killer's eyes. So she's asking him, you know, what did you see? What was that like? And then when he compares it to seeing the exact same expression on the eyes of all the psychopaths at Columbia, for example, because he's a student there, she freaked out. Like, she gets legit freaked out that he's drawing a comparison when he's absolutely right. Here's the exchange.
Can you give us any sense, because you said you looked the shooter in the eyes, can you give us any sense of what you saw in him as he was sort of getting help and people were tending to him as if he too was a victim of seeing this?
Yeah, well, to be clear, I heard about that part because we were in the secure room when he initially walked in. I just saw him screaming and then being handcuffed. But what I saw in his eyes, I mean, I went to Columbia for grad school and I saw the same thing in his eyes as I saw in the eyes of all the protesters at Columbia. Nothing different between him and them.
But they did not create this horrific shooting. They did not, you know, sort of, they didn't shoot.
They gave permission. They gave the permission. And they have called for this. They have called for Intifada revolution, which is the same thing he yelled last night.
Do you worry that there will be a conflation, though, of the two, those people who are speaking their mind, who really care about what is happening in Gaza, and those people who are like this person who did this horrific shooting, who intend to do harm?
A conflation. I mean, they are calling for intifada. At Columbia University, they call for intifada constantly. They're not quietly, they're loud.
Get her.
They're loud. You can hear it. They make recordings of themselves. So what's the difference?
Get her, Jonathan.
What is the difference?
Yeah, there is no difference. I think the theme of the day is suck it. And he could have just like had a punctuation mark at the end of that and just said, hey, lady, suck it. That would have been really great, because that's how I feel about it, honestly. If you don't want to hear a truthful answer to a question, don't ask it, lady.
It's like she just couldn't believe that he would draw the comparison. Of course he's going to draw the comparison. Everybody should. How do you think this stuff gets into people's heads?
CNN, they don't like the truth. It just bothers them so hard.
They get pretty bajiggity with the truth.
Suck it.
Hide your kids and hide your wives again, because Megyn Kelly also saw that clip and she went off.
So worried about the tie he's making to the violence that was just unleashed against two people walking out of this Israel event, and what we're hearing on college campuses literally calling for an intifada against anybody who's pro-Israel. So heaven forbid you make that connection. Sorry, it's obvious. No one's saying, Sarah Sider, that they caused it, that they made this guy do it, but it's exactly the same rhetoric. And, you know, Jewish people are getting a little sick of college campuses allowing these people to run around calling for their murder. It's kind of upsetting. But she recoils at him making the connection. Fuck off. I'm sorry. That's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, just love her. I really, really love her. That's exactly how I feel. F off indeed. I effing don't like her either.
Oh my God.
But listen, there are some people on our side that would say, that's free speech. Sorry, I can't.
I mean, and it is, right? Like we understand what our First Amendment allows. We understand that people are allowed to say things that we absolutely loathe and think are terrible. But the problem is the normalizing it. It's affecting too many people, and there's not enough people calling it out. And so everyone, I don't care who you are on your own social media, you should be calling it out. There should be no fear about calling out the crazy.
I hear you on the free speech thing. I hear you, because I'm a free speech girl. But if somebody was like, listen, we need to kill chicks on the right.
Right.
Like there should be, we need to kill chicks on and like if people were trying to just stir everybody up in the country to kill the chicks on the right, I feel like we'd have a problem with that.
Yeah. And I have no problem with there being, especially on college campuses, if a college campus, and they should do this, if they say you cannot call for the extermination of a race of people that is not allowed here, that's exactly what should happen. I mean, absolutely. Positively.
I don't understand. I just don't
understand. I can't believe this requires explaining, but here we are.
And a lot of these kids we're funding. We're funding a lot of these kids who are here and going to these ridiculous Ivy League schools screaming all this garbage. We're funding our own demise. It's like it's okay. Like they're screaming for intifada for Jews, but they're also screaming, death to America. Basically, they don't like America. Then GTFO.
Exactly.
Bye-bye.
I love Marco Rubio's entire attitude about this. I absolutely love it. It's spot freaking on. You guys, if you are concerned about your health, and particularly if you're a person who gets like those energy spikes and then crashes, like because of sugar and the way that your body processes it, Healthy Cell has this product. It's glucose support. And of course, Healthy Cell is the master at helping your body in all kinds of ways with whatever your body needs. Even if it's just like a multivitamin. If you need a multivitamin, I take the Vegan Essentials because it's got a little extra B12 in it. But these are gel packs that absorb into your system 165% better than any tablet, capsule, or pill will. And this particular supplement for glucose support has berberine, which is notoriously hard to absorb. So you want to get it into your system in a way that you know it will be absorbed. It's got cinnamon bark extract, banaba leaf extract, all the things that help moderate your glucose levels. So this is an absolutely fantastic supplement. You take it before meals and it just helps your body like do what it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's amazingly tasty. So this is the one that is apple cinnamon flavored. And I remember when I first got it and I was like, there's no
Yeah, it tastes
way.
really good, doesn't it? It tastes really good.
It tastes like the inside of an apple pie.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know how they did that. It is so yummy. But you can get 20% off your first order at Healthy Cell when you go to healthycell.com/chicks. And then of course use code CHICKS. Healthycell.com/chicks. Code CHICKS. The squad did come out in their own unique little ways.
Really?
To tweet about the murder yesterday. I mean, they used words that were they just didn't call it out the way that they should have called it out, right? Like they generalize and they refocus attention on Gaza instead of keeping the focus where it belongs. But eventually, I think all of them did come out with some sort of a statement, even Rashida Tlaib. But at first, a few hours after the news broke about this murder, reporters caught up with Ilhan Omar, who could not just do a basic condemnation. Here's what it looked like.
Woman Omar, can I get your reaction to the shooting that happened in D.C. last night?
I'm going to go for now.
Oh my God.
I'm going to go for now, Mark. Couldn't even say condolences for the family.
It's really hard. Yeah. She's like, some people did something. Some people did something. Cannot stand her. According to her, white men are the problem, you guys. White men are.
Except her fiance or her husband or whatever.
That's right. I'm sorry, her brother. Is it her brother? No, that's not her brother. That's her fiance.
They're divorced.
Right.
She's divorced.
The new husband is actually a husband, but the first husband was her brother.
I mean,
so
hours later, I think it took another 4 hours for her to finally put out this tweet saying, I am appalled by the deadly shooting at the Capitol Jewish Museum last night, holding the victims, their families, and loved ones in my thoughts and prayers. Violence should have no place in our country.
She didn't write that. She didn't write
That's
that.
about all her team could muster.
her staff wrote that. You know, that I will bet money I don't have on the fact that she did not write that.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. Safe bet.
Yep.
And then Candace. I was so curious about what she was going to say, given her recent trend, I guess I should say. And even she surprised me with how callous her reaction was, because hours after, this was 3 hours, I think, it was immediately after our show, but 3 hours after the news broke about this tragedy, she decided to tweet about Gaza. And I was stunned. And I thought, well, maybe I missed her tweet about condemning this horrible act, but nope, I didn't miss it. She said, pray for the children in Gaza every single day. They are enduring a Holocaust, and the Western media is trying to convince you that speaking about it is a form of terrorism. Your soul is not worth staying silent. And she retweeted a Pope Leo tweet about Gaza, which he had posted the day before. And she chose 3 hours after the slaughter of 2 Israelis for doing nothing except being Israeli, she chose to post this about Gaza. And this is so by design. And she'll then act all like, what? I mean, I can't say that I'm thinking about Gaza. What's wrong with that?
I can't pray for those children.
God.
Yeah.
She's become so awful.
She's anti-Semitic. I mean,
she got called out.
It's blatant. Yeah.
You would expect that she would. And so then she tweeted about being called out. And so she said, there is nothing more fake, gay, and obvious than the quote, you have blood on your hands, aimed at people who have nothing to do with the crime that has taken place because they hold a reasonable opinion about something else. What is happening in Gaza is still wrong, psychos. What is most sickening about them using the tragic murder of 2 Israelis is that it further underscores how little they value Palestinian life. Tens of thousands of Palestinian children murdered, and they defend it. Innocent life lost is always morally wrong. So she does this, right, to skate around her dismissal of those murders.
I'm just curious. Do you think that the Palestinians and like all these Hamas people, do you think that they would actually embrace Candace and her Catholicism? Just a question. Do you think, like, seriously, if the shit hit the fan, I'm just asking, just putting it out there. If the shit hit the fan and it was like Hamas folks, right? Like, and then they see her and she's a Catholic. Do you think they'd be like, oh, we love Catholics. We love Catholics. We love Christians, right? Come on. Come on.
She has gone off the rails completely.
Can't, you guys. Okay.
And then Cenk Uygur also with just the most tone deaf tweet ever. Instead of being concerned about the Israelis that were slaughtered, he's worried about the optics for the Palestinian cause. And so what he tweeted was, you can't do more harm to the Palestinian cause than by killing Israeli embassy staffers. It's obviously immoral. It makes a whole community feel unsafe. It's also deeply counterproductive because it allows people to frame the whole peace movement as violent, deeply stupid.
It is violent.
And I'm like, where's the peace movement?
Right.
Show it to me, because they're all awful. All of
violent.
them.
It's violent. They're calling for intifada. They're violent.
Yeah.
But, okay. I swear these people don't live in the real world.
They don't. It's crazy.
They're the same people who are like, all these illegals should just pour across the border because it doesn't affect the country at all. They live in like these gilded houses. Where do they live? It's like, what is going on? It's crazy.
Dave Rubin called him out and said, I've met some pretty horrible people in my years in the biz. Grifters, racists, morons, posers, sellouts, hate-filled psychos, ogre-like monsters with mommy issues. Cenk is all of them, wrapped up in a sweaty, bacon grease dripping off the skin package.
Oh my God, that is such a great description. And like the whole sweaty.
I know,
God,
right?
Right?
It just oozes.
That was really good. Really good, Dave. Bravo. Bravo.
And there was also this meme going around, which I thought was just absolutely perfect. It's that the meme that says Jews, Palestinians, it never happened, but also it's good that it did. And actually, I'm the victim.
Right.
That is so how it works.
Exactly how it works. It's so freaking stupid.
Karoline Leavitt had a presser, and then she released a statement on behalf of Trump, in which, of course, she expressed his condolences to the families. And then she also said basically what's happening next. Here she is.
The evil of anti-Semitism must be eradicated from our society. I spoke to the Attorney General this morning. The Department of Justice will be prosecuting the perpetrator responsible for this to the fullest extent of the law. Hatred has no place in the United States of America under President Donald Trump. Everyone here at the White House is praying for the victims' friends and families during this unimaginable time.
And it turns out that it's way worse than we even thought. So according to Marina Medvin, she said the newly filed charges filed against Elias Rodriguez exposed the depravity and callousness of the murders. He didn't just kill Sarah and Yaron. He made sure to finish them. He followed Sarah as she crawled away in agony after he shot her. He followed her and shot her again. He shot her from the back. He executed her in cold blood. He fired at least 21 bullets at them. That's how many cartridge casings were found. And then he just jogged off. Oh my God. Unbelievable. So I know that they're going to be looking at the death penalty for him, and it's too kind of a consequence.
Yeah. He can go meet all of his virgins.
God. I mean, oh my gosh, just infuriating.
Gosh.
You guys, 'tis Memorial Day weekend, and hopefully you ordered your Omaha Steaks in time to celebrate and to grill out the best steaks on the planet, especially the bacon wrapped fillets. Oh my God. We had Omaha Steaks last night. They were not the bacon wrapped fillets, but just the regular fillets, which are also phenomenal, because every time you get Omaha Steaks, they send you the little seasoning, their standard seasoning, which is also delicious. And everything is just so, it's just mouth-watering goodness.
I keep thinking about like, is it Legally Blonde? It makes me want a hot dog real bad.
They also have great dogs.
They have the greatest hot dogs, you guys. Like,
it's true.
I feel like they're undervalued, you know?
They're like, yeah, that's true. They don't get the attention.
They need to get more attention
that a good dog needs.
Heck yeah. That's so good, doggy.
But the great news is that you're in plenty of time to get ready for Father's Day. And of course, this is a slam dunk. Fathers love meat. This is easy. And if you have a dad that's difficult to buy for, problem solved, you guys. Omaha Steaks has you covered. And maybe you have like a vegetarian dad. I don't know. They're out there, I suppose. I don't know why. I will never understand it.
Is he okay?
But the good news is that they have seafood too. They have seafood. They have all kinds of amazing sides, amazing desserts.
That would make him a pescatarian, Mock. That's what
pescatarian.
Yeah, that's what makes.
Really? I thought vegetarians.
If they can't have seafood, vegetarians can't have seafood.
I thought it was vegans that couldn't.
Vegans can't have any animal products whatsoever. They can't have milk. They can't have any of that stuff.
I can't keep up with all this.
I know, right? Just eat some freaking meat, you guys.
Just
all right?
eat the meat, you guys. I don't know what is wrong with you. Eat all the meat. So there is a huge Father's Day sale at Omaha Steaks. You can go to omahasteaks.com. And when you use code CHICKS at checkout, you're going to get $35 off. So celebrate Father's Day, omahasteaks.com. Use promo code CHICKS. Do it. Yesterday, Karoline Leavitt also announced what Trump's schedule looks like for Memorial Day weekend and also beyond. Here she is announcing the big parade coming up.
President Trump will deliver the commencement address at the United States Military Academy at West Point. On Monday, to commemorate Memorial Day, the president will visit Arlington National Cemetery and participate in a wreath-laying ceremony. The president will further honor our military next month on June 14th when he hosts the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a grand military parade celebration right here in our nation's capital. President Trump will be joined by veterans, active duty troops, wounded warriors, Gold Star families, and patriotic Americans from across the country to celebrate our heroes who have kept us safe. Tickets for the parade and the celebration are available through the America 250 Commission's event registration portal. It will be a truly historic and special day for our country. After the parade, President Trump will travel to the G7 Leaders Summit in Canada from June 15th through the 17th. We will be sending an additional logistics information out after the briefing.
Who's going to the parade? Raise your hand. This is going to be amazing, you guys. I cannot wait to watch liberals' heads explode.
Oh my God,
the
they're going to hate
patriotism,
this.
epic meltdown. I can't wait for it. Are you guys ready for it?
It's going to be so America.
So great.
So America.
Yes.
During that same presser, Peter Doocy also asked about the mechanics of the auto pen. Here he is.
I'm not saying the president's making it up, but he specifically talks about the auto pen. He thinks that staffers were using this auto pen. Is there some kind of like a badge that you have to swipe to use an auto pen? Is there a record of that?
I can tell you here at this White House, the president signs any document that has legal implications. The president signs every executive order. He signs every proclamation. He signs pretty much every document that is needed for the president's signature, with the exception of maybe some letters to children. From what we have heard and seen, that was not the case in the previous administration, and the president is raising good questions that are worth looking into.
I mean, that's good that he's raising the questions, but that seems like a slam dunk way to investigate what happened. There's got to be some protections on who has access to the auto pen.
Totally.
This should be a very easy thing to investigate and get to the bottom of.
People need to go to freaking jail.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agreed.
If we don't see that happen, I'm sorry, I've lost all faith in our government.
I know.
I'm holding on by a thread at this point, but I would hope that they would redeem themselves with this administration. I need to see some people go to jail.
Well, and we've been talking a lot about like what's going on with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and the fact that they're like Epstein totally killed himself and everything's on the up and up there.
Right.
That there's no there when it comes to anything untoward about the assassination attempts. So there was a question from the press pool to Karoline Leavitt about specifically the assassination attempts and whether Trump personally is satisfied with them saying everything is on the up and up. Here is how Karoline answered.
Caroline, last week the president told Brett Baer that he trusts his people, but thinks that the official narrative on his assassination attempts are, quote, a little bit odd. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said days later that there's no conspiracy to find, and as he put it, quote, the there that you're looking for is not there. My question is the president personally satisfied with the investigations into the attempts on his life? And does he agree with Deputy FBI Director, or does he think there's more to it?
Well, in the lead up to your question, you answered your own question with the president's own words, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
This does not seem to be going anywhere, you guys.
No.
Now, Michael Knowles was on a panel on Piers Morgan's show with some guy. I think his name is like Wajat or something like that, and some others.
That's unfortunate.
And they were talking about this issue, and Michael Knowles had a unique take on it. I don't know how convinced I am by it, but your mileage might vary. Take a listen.
Himself. I think Dan and Kash Patel are actually honest. I think he killed himself, but MAGA's pissed off right now because MAGA was promised full release of the public files. Pam Bondi hasn't done it. Kash Patel hasn't done it. Dan Bongino hasn't done it. If you're paying attention to MAGA right now, they're divided right now, and they're going after Dan and Kash, and this is going to be a huge problem for MAGA. Not for the rest of us, not for the normies.
Hold on, I
but
thought I
this
was
is
the
why you
normies.
never-
Oh my
I wouldn't be quite so
God.
hasty with that
Those and I were
self-description.
representative of MAGA. Can we get in on this?
Yes. I'm not
Well,
going after Dan and
I-
Kash. I don't know Kash personally. I know Dan pretty well, and I trust Dan. I don't think Dan would lie. You got to pay attention not only to what Dan and Kash said, but what they didn't say. They didn't say that Jeffrey Epstein's suicide was all on the up and up. They didn't say that Jeffrey Epstein didn't have connections to intelligence agencies. They didn't say that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't permitted to kill himself. The fact that you had malfunctions of multiple security cameras and multiple guards not showing up, they didn't say that Jeffrey Epstein didn't, as Alan Dershowitz suggested the other day, pay the guards off to allow him to kill himself. There's still all sorts of questions about it. There's very legitimate questions, unless you, Wajat, think that the Jeffrey Epstein case was just open and shut and there's no reason to dig any deeper. Obviously, there are very legitimate questions about it. But what Dan and Kash said can be true, and there can still be much more to learn about the corruption that involves very, very high levels of government. Well, the big
Still doesn't mean that we can't get some files.
Is it just is it possible that they're just saying what they can say for now until more documents are released?
Yeah, but
I don't get it. I don't
either. I don't either. How much more time do they freaking need? How much more? And that, I know the normies comment. Oh, Julia, I was like, what? They all just like completely freaked out when he said that.
I know.
We're trying to suggest that people on the left who like cut kids' genitals off and put boys and girls locker rooms, they're the normies. Okay. Okay. Right.
But I mean, Trump is saying I trust my people, and it seems a little weird, but okay. I mean, if anybody should be like bent out of shape about it, it's Trump. And for some reason, maybe he is, and we don't know it. But the vibe he's giving off is everything's fine, and I trust my people. So
I think if we don't start seeing some stuff, though, people are going to get. I mean, there are people in here that are saying, like Pam Bondi. What is it? Somebody, I'm sorry, I don't know what your name was. I can't remember, but somebody called her Scam Blondie. That was brilliant, actually.
Yikes.
And it was pretty brilliant. It's funny though. But it's funny. It's funny, right? Yeah.
So part of the big, beautiful bill, and this was part of Caroline's presser as well, somebody was asking about the elimination of funding for genital mutilation of kids. And she talked about that, and this was great.
Bill, I know there's a provision that the House included that defunds Planned Parenthood, not only because of the fact that it's the nation's largest abortion provider, but also because it's, I think, the biggest distributor of transgender hormones right now, even to minors, according to Live Action. So is the president committed to making sure that provision stays in the Senate?
The president has maintained a very clear commitment to ensuring that this administration and the American people's tax dollars are not funding any institution. That includes hospital systems that are funding the chemical castration and mutilation of children. We're not going to tolerate taxpayer dollars going to such efforts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of done across the board funding other people's lives. Across the board. I don't want to pay for your abortion. I don't want to pay for your kid to have some weird ass transgender surgery that I don't agree with. I'm just sick of funding your freaking life because I'm having a hard enough time funding mine. So bugger off. It's not the way that it's supposed to be. Our founders didn't want that. Our founders are spinning in their graves because they see all of this garbage, all of this it's supposed to be benevolent or something. Like we're supposed to be helping these people no, I'm done paying for other people.
Yeah. I mean, and it kind of like, I don't know where this is or if it's part of the big, beautiful bill, but do you remember before the election, even one of the promises that Trump was making was that taxpayers were going to fund IVF for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Nope.
I don't like that.
Nope.
That seems like something that I shouldn't have to be paying for other people for, but
we pay for enough people.
Yeah.
Enough already.
There was a moment with Yamiche Alcindor where Yamiche was trying to say that Trump wasn't accurate when the South African president was in the office about the white crosses that he showed in one of his presentations. And Yamiche's attitude toward anyone in the Trump administration is so clearly different than how Yamiche used to be with any Democrat. And so here's a little side-by-side comparison, if you will, about how combative she was with Karoline and then how she asked questions, the deep probing questions to Kamala during the campaign, and the difference striking.
Showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead and their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
The fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Verifies the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to
Yamiche,
show?
what's unsubstantiated about the video?
I've talked to Americans from all across this country in all walks of life who are inspired by your story. What's your message to them as they are looking at your journey, especially the history that you are making and might make as the first Black woman and Indian woman to break down this glass ceiling? And even now, of course, making the history that you're making now. We have to go, but you talk about your mother, and what do you think your mother would be telling you in these final days before this election against Donald Trump?
Just go beat him. That's probably what she'd say.
God, insufferable.
Just stop it. Just stop. Stop calling yourself a journalist. This is why everybody hates you.
Right.
Stop it.
Right. And then I think this was a New York Times interview with somebody who was commenting about the whole South African farmer thing and how one of the things that has Trump so riled up, rightly so, is that government policy is that farms can be simply confiscated from white farmers and then there's no payment for that. So what's amazing about this clip that you're about to hear is the very, very beginning and the very, very end. Okay, so listen to the sentence at the beginning and listen to the sentence at the end, and then help me understand how this even works.
And there is no confiscation of land. Half of South Africa is white-owned farms, essentially. Even though the white population is only 7%. What the government did do that really caught Trump's eye this year was a measure that would allow the government to take land without providing compensation.
There's no confiscation of land,
but then the
government can take the land
with no compensation.
What?
I'm sorry. What? You're going to have to pick a lane, dude, because you're making no sense. Wow.
This is just, what in the world is New York Times doing? I can't. I don't.
They're not doing their job. They're not doing journalism, but that's no shock to anybody, right? No shock.
Oh my God. All right. We got to get to the Jake Tapper stuff. It is starting to fizzle out a little bit. I mean, we spent a lot of time yesterday on it because Megyn's clips with Jake Tapper were so phenomenally interesting. But he's still making the rounds. And now he was asked, and this was on CNN. I think it was Wolf Blitzer, if I'm not mistaken, but he was asked, knowing what you know now, how does it change how you might cover President Trump going forward? Which I thought was a really good question.
Yes.
He didn't entirely answer it, but here is what he did say.
Cabinet secretaries.
Interesting. How has writing this important book, Investigating the Biden Presidency, Jake, informed you about how to cover the current president?
Well, I just think in general, not Trump specific, but in general, I think that the press corps, and I'm certainly including myself, needs to worry less about politeness when it comes to these health issues, and needs to be even more aggressive when it comes to demanding transparency on health issues when it comes to the president. President Trump, while he appears healthy, he has not been transparent about his health records.
Oh, my God.
And I think that that's something that the American people have a right to.
Oh, so you're going to start asking the hard questions now, Jake?
Now. Yeah,
He's gonna do that
exactly.
now.
He's going to do it now.
So glad he's learned his lesson, you guys, just in time for Trump to be president. What a douche. God, this guy, I can't. You got to quit playing clips of him. My blood pressure. I can't. It can't.
That's the last one, I promise.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is the last one.
I can't. I never want to see him again. Yeah.
We do have a clip of Stephen A. Smith saying that he thinks that this whole escapade, that everything that was revealed in Jake Tapper's book is gonna really, really hurt Democrats. And I so hope he's right.
That as Jake Tapper goes around the circuit promoting his book, and the more facts we learn from this book, I think irreparable harm is going to be done to the Democrats. I think the midterms are in jeopardy. I think the presidency in 2028 is in jeopardy. It's really bad, y'all.
I think things
really
are great.
bad.
It's not
It's
bad.
really bad.
I think things are great. And you know,
Yeah, I'm
I
happy.
do not underestimate the power of stupidity in TDS, because I don't. We cannot rest and think, oh yeah, we got this in the bag because these people are complete idiots and morons. Idiots and morons get off their asses and go vote. And so we can't rest. We just can't. This is the stuff that keeps me awake at night. You know what I mean? Because I watch stuff like that, and I think, and there are Republicans that see that and they're like, we got this in the bag.
Yeah.
We don't. We simply don't.
We cannot rest.
No.
No rest for the weary.
Nope.
Megyn Kelly, speaking of, she was on Mark Halperin's show to talk about what she made of the interview with Jake Tapper. And so one of the things he asked her was, how did he do? In your view, like if Jake were to call you as a friend, because they are friends, and ask how he did, what would you say? And here's what she said.
Done the interview, and Jake, as your friend, called you afterwards and said, hey, how'd I do with that interviewer? How would you say Jake did in his interview with you?
Well, I'll be totally honest. I thought he could have done better. Jake, when he's more relaxed, is much more conversational. And I thought in our interview, he sounded almost affected a bit, you know, like almost like he was trying to be professorial and maintain his cool. And he kept repeating that thing. I look back on my coverage with humility, which sounded PR tested and not really authentic.
So he had handlers. He has
Of course he
handlers.
did. Oh, he
Right.
had crisis PR on this one.
Right. He has a ton of handlers that are helping him on his little book tour, because that's what people do, right? They have all these handlers and they're telling him what to say. So there again, like to me, that just totally, it gets rid of all the stuff that he's trying to say about transparency and about learning his lessons, because he's not genuine.
No, he's absolutely inauthentic about it. Nobody says
Right.
that over and over and over again.
No. So
What he should be saying is, I'm deeply embarrassed and ashamed. That would go a lot further, I think, than I'm looking at this with humility. Give me a
Or
break.
like maybe do what we did when we went on a book tour and we were like, you know what, we're not going to listen to what people say. We're just going to be ourselves. Maybe just be yourself and be the guy that Megyn knows, and then go out there and just do what you're going to do and say what you're going to say and not have handlers, you douche, because it makes you less credible. It makes me just even look at you more and say, this guy's a liar. He's
Yeah,
a liar
he's a
and
weasel.
he's a grifter. He wants to make money off of people. That's precisely what he's doing now. And he's nothing more than that. He's pathetic.
Mark also asked Megyn if she believed Jake when he talked about not having connections at the White House to dig into the story in real time for himself. Here's what she said.
Do you find his argument that he acknowledges he missed the story, but that there was no way for him to actually get the story?
I don't believe it. I don't believe that. I think he did have the sources, and I just think everyone went along because they liked the lie. they were perfectly happy with a lie.
Right.
You know, Jake is articulating it perfectly now about how Trump was viewed as an existential threat, and when that's how you see your opponent, any means are justified. Except he's still not admitting he was part of that. And that, like, he talked about how he didn't see what Laura Trump saw, what I saw, what you saw. And one question I wish I had asked him was, why not? Have you spent any time trying to figure out why you didn't see it? Because I would submit he's not a Trump fan, and it colored his judgment, and it's probably still coloring his judgment right now.
Yeah. And she's friends with him, and she's like, he's lying. That's
I don't
great.
believe him.
I don't believe him. He's a liar. And she likes him. And she's saying that. So what are we supposed to think? I didn't like him. I never will. So of course he's lying. Of course he's a big fat liar from Liar Town.
We need to talk about some good Trump stuff and some stories about Trump that you may not have heard and that you need to hear. But first of all, there was I don't even know the word for it. It wasn't like a presser. I mean, it kind of was, but basically RFK, Trump, they were participating in this roundtable discussion about some of the studies that MAHA has done, that RFK has been in charge of, and some of the results that they found and how sick kids are. Like, it's way worse than anybody even imagined. And RFK Jr. had some really nice things to say about Trump that were meaningful, in that he's like basically the first president who has the balls to stand up to big pharma and other corporate interests. And he's really, really noticed that. Here's what he said.
I want to thank you for your vision, for your courage, for standing up. You know, President Trump is a populist president. He's a president he's blamed for giving money to billionaires and all this stuff. We hear about that all the time. But he is on the side of the middle class, the working class, the poor in this country, people. And I've been following, I've met every president since my uncle was president, and I've never seen a president, Democrat or Republican, that is willing to stand up to industry when it's the right thing to do, and they're willing to talk about really difficult issues and to hold his stand on those issues. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm very, very grateful to you. I've sat with industry again and again in a room with him and heard him say, we can't do that. We're going to do something different, deliver news that they didn't want to hear.
Because he's the first private sector billionaire to get into office, you know, that did
and he
it
doesn't,
on his
he's not owned by anybody.
Right. He's not owned. He is himself. It's really great.
Yeah.
It really is great. And I believe all of that. I absolutely do. He's in there and he wants to do good things. And he's been shot in the head.
Yeah.
People forget that. I mean, he could have just bowed out at that point. He could have been like, you know what? Maybe I've had enough because I've been shot in the head.
Yeah, but instead he was like, fight.
Yeah. That's our guy.
That takes some balls. And then there's the softer side of Trump, the stories that we don't hear often enough, but that exist, probably a whole ton of them. This one was sent to me by my neighbor who she found, I'd never seen this story before. I'm not sure how old it is. I know that it happened. The story that you're about to hear from this woman happened back in The Apprentice days, but it is such a great story. Listen.
Manhattan, and we met a woman named Debbie who's been living in New York for 50 years, says Trump saved her life one night in New York long before he was president, back in The Apprentice days. Told us quite a story.
Trump saved my life, literally. My dad and my mom passed at the same time. I was in a bad place. I was going towards the Brooklyn Bridge. Don't ask me why, but I was. Donald Trump was standing on 97th Street in Broadway. He was at a friend's birthday party. And when he saw me coming past, I was hysterical in tears. And he gently grabbed my arm. He was like, whoa, wait a minute, are you okay? And he said, well, I don't know what you're gonna do right now, but whatever it is, forget about it. Take it out of your head. Your mom and dad wouldn't want that. And he talked to me till I forgot all about what I was gonna do. So he said, let me pray for you. So when I went to get my keys out of my pocket, and I opened my hand, he had placed a folded up, real small, folded up $100 bill in my hand. I framed it, literally, and this is a true story. He saved my life. Yeah, he did. So anybody that has anything bad to say about Trump, did it, because he's a good man.
Yeah, he's
amazing.
Yeah, he's a racist.
He's so racist.
He's such a racist, you guys.
So racist. Yes. And then we told you earlier in the week about Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, right-wing influencer, very, very popular on Twitter, and his diagnosis of prostate cancer. He said when he made the announcement that he does not expect to live past the summer. And he told a story yesterday about Trump that was amazing. This runs a little bit long, but it's worth it. Listen.
So I see a phone number coming in. Somebody's calling me from some number I don't recognize, something in Florida. And I sent it to voicemail. And a little bit later, I thought, I better check that voicemail and see if that was anything I need to deal with. And the first sentence in the transcription, because the phone gives you the text version of the voicemail as well. The first sentence is, "This is your favorite president." And I thought to myself, no.
Oh my God, I can't.
Did I just send the most important person in the world to voicemail? And it turns out that I had. It was Trump, and he was just calling to check in. Now he left a semi-lengthy little voicemail, just saying he was checking on me, heard about my health situation, and then he says, you can call me back on this number. Now, obviously, I don't call him back, right? Because that would just be ridiculous.
That'd be so mean.
It just was a nice thing for him to say, so I don't call him back. Hours go by. It's the afternoon, same day. It's the afternoon. And all of a sudden, another call comes through, also from Florida. And I thought to myself, no fucking way. There's no way he's calling me again. And I answer it, and it's Trump. And apparently he'd heard of my situation, and he had lots of questions. I won't get into the details of our conversation because that would be inappropriate. But he was just checking on me. And he had, he wanted to make sure that I was getting everything I needed. And that was it. But at the end, the strangest thing happened at the end. At the end of the call, when he found out, the situation was kind of dire, and I was still checking out some things that might help. He said, if you need anything, I'll make it happen. And he meant it.
Isn't that the best story ever?
It is. There's so, and I mean, that's an incredible story. Incredible. And I just hate what's happening to him.
I know.
It's an incredible story. But there's so many incredible stories like that about him that we've never heard.
Yep. That's why I thought it was important to feature a couple of them, because more people need to know about that softer side of Trump that he never is going to tell you himself. You know what I mean? He's never going to say, by the way, I called Scott Adams. He's never going to do that.
No.
So we rely on hearing it like that. And that was really, really, really
And you're
cool.
definitely not going to hear it from the mainstream media. You're not.
No,
You're the
absolutely
opposite.
not.
So just keep that in mind. Think critically.
It's time for some My Pillow Talks, and we've introduced you to this fellow before, the impersonator. He did Douglas Murray and Lex Friedman. That's the video that we showed most recently. His name is Tony Lapidus, or Latipus, or Lapidus, one of the two.
Platypus? No, not that.
But now he brings us Piers Morgan and Trump. I don't know how he gets their mannerisms so well, but he does. Here it is.
You're harder to get hold of than the president, right? Oh, hang on. You are the president. Donald Trump. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, it's fantastic to be here, Pearson. You're looking pretty good. You are.
Well, I appreciate that. You're not looking too bad yourself.
Thank you very much.
Well, look, I want to begin by asking you about your recent trip to the Middle East. Do you know what I was thinking about the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia? That he's the epitome of a real man. Do you agree with that?
Well, that guy's a fantastic guy. He really is. I mean, I like that guy a lot, that I can tell you now. One of the only problems that I had with him, Percy, you know what it was?
No, I don't. Go on.
It was that maybe I liked him a little too much, right? I mean, think of it. The fake news out here that they'll say Donald Trump says he likes the Saudi crown prince. Yeah, I do. I like him a lot. And by the way, that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Should we talk about Iran?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people were saying that you might be gearing up for a strike. Any truth to that?
Well, I really don't want to talk about that, Pierce, because, well, quite frankly, it's not going to be good. I mean, we have in the United States weapons the likes of which the world has never seen. Look, it's very simple, Pierce. Here's the deal. You ready? Iran has got to stop talking about the N-word. They can never, ever go N-word, okay? I mean, they keep using the N-word, and I don't know why they're using it, but we can't have it.
Well, hang on. I don't think it's just Iran that shouldn't be using the N-word. I don't think anybody should be using it.
Well, I will say that sometimes, you know, as president, you have to use the N-word. I mean, it's a horrible word to use. But, you know, sometimes we don't have a choice, and it's a horrible thing.
Oh, God, it's horrible. That's what
the wink off to the side.
Right?
Oh my God.
How does he do it? I don't know.
Incredible.
That's such a talent, you guys, that I
Oh my
don't have.
gosh.
It's just so great.
Just amazing. This next one is a video from this guy. I think he's Irish or Scottish. I'm never quite sure of the difference between the accents, but it's from one of those two places. And he is showing fair food. Okay. So he's reacting to how American fair food is so just over the top. And I don't know if it's the accent that makes it so funny.
I'm already getting
idea.
bristly because I love fair food. I'm getting a little bristly, but okay, go ahead.
Oh my God. No, it's so good.
Okay, good.
Hide your kids. Hide your wives.
Hide them.
Americans are getting up to some absolute shenanigans at the LA County Fair. The food is some of the most disgusting footage I've ever witnessed. Well done, America. You should be fucking proud. What other nation could possibly bring us the triple donut cheeseburger? I love how not only is it a donut burger, it has 3 fucking burgers in it. They were going to go with 2, but they didn't want to be cunts, starving people. And the Americans need the energy, so they can walk over and buy a cereal burger. Pick a lemonade. Nobody asked. America delivered. But there were also healthy options. Oh, fuck. No, never mind. I want to thank America. Actually, just wait 1 second. I want to thank America for showing us what's possible. We're fat cunts, but what we're doing is child's play. Every day, you show us what we could be. Follow me. I'm delicious.
I think he's Irish, Mark. I think that guy was Irish. Yeah, just the use of the C word and everything. I feel like he's Irish.
Oh my God. I just love that.
Brilliant. I want everything that he showed. Every single thing. Except for the strawberries. These are way too healthy.
But then the chocolate.
I mean, it's just still way too healthy.
Oh,
that's
so
fair.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen this new trend on all the socials, but there is a trend where wives and girlfriends are asking their husbands / boyfriends to call their friends. So like I would tell Ron, call your friends and wish them good night.
Yes, tell them good night.
It is,
or like a brother if he had a brother.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's the best trend ever. And the reactions from the dudes are so funny. And for whatever reason, this crosses racial lines. Okay. I've seen videos from white dudes calling their friends to tell them goodnight. I've seen videos from black dudes. The black dudes are way funnier. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to see a couple of examples from black dudes calling their friends to tell them goodnight. I cannot get enough of this trend. Cannot get enough.
So I'm going to just see you tomorrow, bro. I was just kind of say goodnight.
Bro, what the You straight, dog?
Oh my God, I love it.
Bro, we good.
What you mean?
He usually call to say goodnight.
Like, bro, good night, bro. You my dog, bro. I'm just checking in real quick.
Yeah.
I just talked to you 5 minutes ago.
I know that, but when, like, I say good night, bro. Like, sleep well, bro. Bro, I can't tell my homies, like, sleep well, bro. Get good rest.
Hey, bro. Bro, I don't know what type of shenanigans you're on right now, bro. But you're at the real bonkers right now.
Real bonky.
What you got going?
I'm literally just trying to get this temperature stuff going on with Ken.
Oh.
I'm trying to bring our temperature down. Why was that?
No, I'll just call and tell you good night, bro. Sweet dreams. Hello?
What?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what do you mean, good night?
I'm about to lay down, bro. I'm about to get in the bed. I just want to call and tell you good night, bro. Sweet dreams.
Yeah, but nigga, why the hell you call? Why are you telling me good night?
I hope you sleep tight, bro.
Nigga, what?
All right, bro. I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow, man. Sweet dreams.
What do you have going? What sweet dream, nigga? I'm a grown. What's going on? Are you good?
Yeah, bro. I can't wish that you sleep good tonight, bro.
Nigga, when the hell have you ever wished that? Why?
All right, bro. I'm gonna sleep tight, so I'm gonna holler at you. All right, bro. All right.
Nigga, don't call my phone doing this, man. What you mean you gonna sleep tight? Don't. You know what?
You know, his wife is just like dying. That is the greatest thing.
Oh my God.
You know who would love that? David Hogg. He'd actually be like, "Oh, thanks for."
He probably does that on the regular anyway.
He does it to all of his guy friends.
That's already part of his routine.
It is part of his routine. Sleep tight.
Oh my God. Just love that. All right, we do have a couple of thank yous. Amanda Barnard said, I listen at work and sent the message about Zero Hedge Guy on Tuesday. This morning, I had a sticky on my desk that said Zero Hedge, and I was like, what the crap is this? Then I saw my old Venmo at the end, and I remembered it's menopause.
I know, it totally is menopause brain. I feel you on that.
Then she said, Venmo won't let me say that menopause sucks. The moderator must be a man. P.S.
What?
I'm not a man hater. They just can't possibly comprehend what it's like to go backwards through puberty.
It's true.
Yeah, you can't say sucks on Venmo, I guess.
Are
have
you
to space
serious?
it.
You can't
I
say
guess.
sucks?
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird?
That is so weird.
It's super weird.
Wow.
We also, from SZ Plot over on Local, says, realize I haven't thanked you both for all you do in months. Placed my Omaha Steak order yesterday. Just gave my 2 Yellow Lab girls their daily coat defense rub. Hope everyone has a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend.
Yes,
Thank you.
I hope so
Thank
too.
you. Now you.
Okay, Judy Flackney. Am I the only one? I have to listen to Stuart. Can't click out until thank you, come again. LOL.
It's Spencer.
It's Spencer, not Stuart. It's Spencer. Yeah. But I'm sure he appreciates. He's probably watching right now, and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's me. She's talking about me."
Okay.
Brian. Okay, thank you. Brian Brumley. These people chanting Antifada and Death to America are loading the bullshit and handing the gun to people like the shooter. They are culpable. There were a lot of asterisks in there because I think that yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's Stroke Jen.
Oh, loading the bullets. I'm sorry.
Oh, right.
Yeah, loading the bullets. You're right, though, Brian. You're absolutely right. Jennifer, no. That is
Jen.
Very generous. Thank you so much. We hope you're doing okay. We're thinking about you. Hey, Chick, celebrating being able to watch my first live in almost 2 weeks. Thank God, Jennifer. Exciting it is. Sending you hugs. We're sending hugs right back.
Right back at you.
Everybody keep praying for Jennifer. Janine Klimt, thank you for that super sticker. I gotta scroll down. Kimberly Donaldson. I swear Debbie Wasserman Schultz looks like a drowned pound puppy. Maybe she needs some healthy salad. Mock, so great to see T-Bone with that big, beautiful smile.
Yes, it was so good to see him. So good to see him. He's doing great.
It's awesome. C-Noons, Tapper, Candace, Schultz, Omar, CNN, Pelosi, etc. can all suck it. Hashtag suck it. That said, God bless our Gold Star families. Remember those lost, all gave some gave all. Love y'all. Exo balls. Agreed. You guys make sure that you remember what the weekend is for, right? I think everybody here knows. So Brian Brumley, my first reaction if a dude called me like that would be to ask, why are you gay? Which I think is a correct response. It's a good response, you guys. We're bringing it in. It's a Memorial Day bring-in. It's a Memorial Day bring-in. I know there's a lot of, we have a 3-day weekend, so we'll see you guys on Tuesday. And everybody have a lovely weekend.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.